Parents strongly caution the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
What's up everyone, CBM Productions here. Today we're going to be covering something a little bit different. Now I usually cover a bunch of different topics on this channel. If you're a seasoned viewer you know this. But to those who are new, I cover a lot of people's dumb mistakes. From creepy Jenna Ortega stands to just don't see the barrier between reality and fiction. TikTokers being arrested for doing absolutely abhorrent things. But today I want to turn the tables a little bit and talk about my own mistakes and my own flaws. Now, I've wanted to film this video for a minute, but this isn't the most comfortable subject in my opinion, a little bit sensitive, so it took a minute to get the confidence to actually talk about this on camera. I usually don't do storytime videos on this channel, or really talk about my personal life that much, but I do feel with these stories, I think it is necessary to spread this information to you guys, my audience, and talk about these crazy stories over the past 8 months or so of me getting scammed or me almost getting scammed in various different ways. So if you do find yourself in a similar situation in the future, maybe this video can help you out to avoid these red flags. But anyways, let's not waste any more time and get into these stories of me getting scammed.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
So from here on out, I'm just gonna go off the cuff and just talk about these stories to the best of my memory. Considering the fact that my lazy ass just decided to stop writing the script at this point, I mean, it literally just says, from here on out, you're on your own. I'm gonna go watch Blue Beetle. Yeah, thank you, past me. Fucking asshole. So starting off this story, it happened around December of last year, so roughly around 8 months ago is the time I'm recording this video. And I vividly remember how this story started. So I just got out of seeing Avatar: The Way of Water for the first time. And I remember this message on Instagram popped up on my feed, and I decided to accept it and read it. So this guy essentially made this offer. He was a painter. And he was like, hey, listen, I really like your Instagram posts. I think they're really well done. Could I have your permission to use your likeness in a mural of some sorts? So I can paint it for a client of mine. And I'll pay like $500-600 in the commission fees after I paint it in a few months or so. Can I use your likeness? And I was like, sure, why the hell not? It wasn't obvious, at least to me at the time, that this was a scam. Considering the fact this guy wasn't automatically asking for my information or something like that. It was just like, hey, can I do this thing and you can get the reimbursement later on. I'm like, sure, why the hell not? I like a little bit of extra cash.
I like money.
And then a day or so goes by, not much happens. And then this guy basically messages me again. And this guy basically goes, hey, listen, so could I have your email and your phone number just so I can, make sure I can contact you, and also my client, making sure that we don't, get sued for using your likeness against your consent. And that was kind of the first red flag for me personally, because I was like, why the hell? I mean, you have written the messaging and you have proof that I consented to this, but sure, why the hell not? If you're gonna pay me, I guess you need my email and my phone number. And so this guy, I give him my email and my phone number. And not much else happens. And then a day or so happens later. And then this guy messages me again. Hey, listen. So I need money for my art supplies. And this client of mine doesn't really want to pay me money directly through me. So could he send you the money through your own account and then you just bounce it back to me?
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar.
I know. This was dumb, but at the time, I had no idea what the hell I was in, so I was like, why the hell not? Sure, you can go through the money, I'll just pass it to you, who cares? And I honestly didn't believe it for a second, and then this guy legit messages me a fucking, couple checks, I think both being $200 each, and then he's like, hey, can you give me these checks? I'm like, sure, why not? So it goes into my account, it's actually real money, I didn't believe it at the time, I was like, this is real fucking money, and then I sent $400 to this guy via Zelle, and I was like, okay, cool, that's awesome, and I didn't think much of it. And then this guy also messages me again, and he goes, hey, listen, can I send you more checks? And he's like, yeah, I need an extra $2,600 in total for my painting.
Failure is your destiny.
I'm like, what the hell? Why do you need $3,000 total for this shit? Why am I in the middle of this? I thought you just said you were going to pay me like post-mortem. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just pass through the money. And at this point, after the first couple checks went through and I gave it to this guy, the $400, every attempt to give this guy his money back, because those checks also went to my account, basically my bank was just declining every single time I tried to transfer the money to this guy. So Zelle wouldn't work. And also the weird thing, and like the automatic thing that made me realize that I was in a shitty situation, this guy tried to send multiple numbers to like, you know, for me to give him the money, and it went under like every single cell number was like a different name. It was like Manuel something, you know, Francesca something. I was like, why the hell do you have so many people's Zelle numbers? Like, what's all these identities? And he's like, don't worry about it. And luckily, in retrospect, my bank just declined every single offer. And this guy, the scammer, was just getting super desperate at the time, and he was like, hey, listen, can you go to Bitcoin? Can you go to your bank, just cash out actual money? And every single time I tried to do that, it would just decline. My card would decline. I couldn't transfer any money, blah 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 blah. And I just couldn't give this guy the extra $2,600. And every single time I tried to, like, you know, give this guy this money back, because at the time I was like, dude, I just don't want this money anymore. I just want this out of my account. I just want to be done with this situation. It would decline, and I couldn't give this guy this money. This guy was getting really desperate. And it's to the point where I almost transferred or wired $2,600 and change, because, you know, you get fees for wiring money. And I remember being on the phone with the guy being like, hey, do you want to, you know, transfer this $2,600? And I remember just going, like, last minute, I remember just declining the offer. I was like, nah, I don't feel comfortable like zelling this guy, or sorry, wiring this guy's like $2,600. And thank God in retrospect, because it came to my attention, my alignment came in, that this guy was a scammer. Now, to defend my own actions in the situation, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, this guy's stupid. Why the hell did you agree to the situation? Why are you involved in this?
You disrespect yourself and your nation.
Because I've never been scammed before in my life up until this point. I felt like I was like fairly like, you know, up to date regarding a lot of the traditional scams you see on the internet that like a lot of like elderly people and stuff like that they like to prey upon with these scammers. I had no idea what the hell money laundering like really worked. And so if you want to know, and again, this is the reason why I want to tell a story to any of you guys that are involved in this in the future, or get like messages regarding these type of situations. I want, hey, listen, you want to paint a mural about yourself. See, what these people essentially do is that they want to send checks to your accounts, and then basically just like, hey, can you just pass the money just so you can just get it out of your account? Don't worry about it. See, the thing about those checks is they were actually fraudulent checks. Those weren't actual real money. And so essentially, by the time that the banks from these original checks that they were fraudulent realized that they were fraudulent, those checks would bounce back. And so you would basically just lose money out of your accounts. Those checks weren't real, and by the time you would realize that, the scammer would already collect your hard-earned money in the process. I lost $400 in the process. I lost $400 of my hard-earned money to this random scammer that I'll never see probably in my life. And so that really distraughted me. I remember just being absolutely distraught over the situation, just feeling absolutely shit with myself by the time I realized that this guy was a scammer. And this story doesn't end here. See, I told you earlier that I gave this guy my phone number, right? Just for contact reasons. And what essentially happens is that I basically just kind of blocked this guy's number as soon as he asked for the extra $2,600 he needed for his painting or whatever the hell. And so this other guy shows up to claim to be the client, the guy that hired this supposed painter. I assume was just the exact same guy under a different phone number. And so by the time I basically just declined his offer to transfer the money, this guy decided to pose as like an assassin. And he was like, we're going to take out your fucking family, blah, 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 blah. And this guy was like sending me messages of like decapitated heads and like, you know, like gang violence, like claiming that it was his counseling. He's like, he's going to go after you, dude. Like, you're going to be assassinated. Your whole family's going to die, blah, 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 blah. And I remember being scared for a second. I remember being like, dude, how the hell do you even know like where I live? Like, you just know my phone number, my email address. That's about it. And so after a while, it did stress me out because again, like I was fairly new to the situation, new to being scammed, so I didn't really like realize that at the time. But as you can clearly tell, I'm still alive. Like there is no assassin that came after me. It was just a scammer that got $400 out of my money. It was a bad situation that genuinely really affected my mental health for a bit. Like I remember just feeling absolutely awful by the time I realized what was going on. And luckily this wasn't the worst case scenario. I could have lost up to $3,000 plus had I actually gone through the wire transfer. But again, it just shows you just can't trust anyone on the internet. Like, if a deal seems too good for you, it might just be because it is. I remember the night that I told my parents about this, and we just got into like a big argument about it. And I remember just like driving to my city at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and just driving for hours like I was fucking Ryan Gosling in Drive, just driving endlessly, just not knowing what to do with my life. I remember just feeling so distraught about the situation that I decided to sleep at the break room at my workplace at the time. Like I literally just crashed on the couch at like 6 o'clock in the morning because I was just too scared to go home. Not because of my parents or anything, I was just so embarrassed by myself and my actions. And I just remember feeling like, why did I just like lose all this money that I worked hard for because I fell for a scam? And around this time, actually, I made my very first JENNA ORTEGA video, the one that actually kicked off this new era of my YouTube channel that you're seeing me today. I made that video while in the process of being scammed. So I guess that will give you some extra context. But yeah, if the moral of the story is that if someone asks for a mural of you, don't take it. Don't ask for this guy's information, or don't like let him in your life, because you will lose money. Make sure, keep your eyes open. But yeah, that's the very first story for this video.
You are made of stupid.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
So next up, we have this really strange incident. So this happened probably like 2 weeks after I had just gotten scammed by this mural guy. And this doesn't have to do with a specific person, but an entire corporation. So Crunch Fitness, right? See, I'm not the most fit person in the world, right? I'm like semi-muscular, but I'm not like the best guy when it comes to working out routine. I try to do it normally, but like, you know, with doing YouTube and all that stuff, I'm also procrastinating, that like I'm very inefficient with it. And this was around the time New Year's came out. I told you, like, this was like late December, early January that this story takes place. And I remember like one of my New Year's goals was to like sign for a gym membership and like try to work out and try to get like, you know, a good physique in my opinion. And so me and my manager at the time really wanted to like try to, you know, work out more. He wanted to like get me into the fitness world. And around this time, one of our local businesses in our area at my workplace was a Crunch Fitness in the area. And so for like a little Christmas gift, a couple of the employees or representatives of this Crunch Fitness was sending out like these free passes to everyone, like one of the local businesses in our area. And one of them was my workplace. And so these two employees walk up to like the stand at the movie theater I worked at and was like, hey, listen, here's like a free month trial of Crunch Fitness. And I was like, cool. And he's like, hey, listen. And this was me and my manager at the time. And he was like, hey, listen, can I have your debit card info down just so I can like track you down for the account? Because if you don't cancel your account, your free trial after 7 days, you'll be charged for the month. We don't want to make sure you just get a freebie and nothing else. And considering the fact there's like a, you know, an actual corporation, this wasn't like some scammer on Instagram at the time, like I just went through, I was like, fine, why the hell not? Like my manager's there, nothing was seemed out of the ordinary. So I give this guy my debit card info. And so I get this like free pass for Crunch Fitness. And later that night, I actually took me and my manager, we actually did a little fitness routine at the Crunch Fitness in my area. And everything seemed fine. But because of like other things going in my life, I had started school around New Year's and just doing other things like YouTube. I just didn't have the time to do workouts and stuff like that. At least like at a gym, I could do it at home, but not at, you know, a gym. I couldn't like, you know, forge at the time, at least in my opinion. And so like, about a month goes by and I see on my account, it gets charged like 50, 60 some bucks for the month of Crunch Fitness. I'm like, what? Why the hell am I getting charged? And a lot of you might be thinking, well, that's because you started the free trial and you didn't cancel after 7 days. You might have just gotten charged because you just forgot to cancel your subscription. But the actual time I went to Crunch Fitness with my manager, I didn't start my free membership. I just went there as a guest under my manager because he was already a member there. So I actually never started my free trial for Crunch Fitness. I was just there for one day and never went back. And so I confront the people the same exact people that, you know, gave me this offer. I was like, hey, listen, can I cancel my account and get my money back because it's a free trial and whatever. And then the guy that offered me this in the first place goes, yeah, well, here's the problem, right? See, when you actually sign up for this little free trial thing, you were committed to a 90-day guarantee or commitment. So for not only for January, but for February and March, I would be charged like 60 bucks a month or something like that to a gym that I only went to once. And mind you, I never started my free trial in the first place, so I never should have gotten charged for January and begin with. And so they were like, hey, listen, we can't cancel your account till April 1st. I was like, are you kidding me? So I storm out of the Crunch Fitness, and I basically have to file 3 separate claims across January, February, and March because of this stupid gym membership that I never actually signed up for or didn't even start the free trial for. I was just charged for no reason. And come to find out, you know, people in the area, like I play soccer with some people and they talked about this crunch fitness in their area, infamously being known for just kind of scamming people. Like they would change managers and change management every 3 months. So whenever people would complain about these, you know, 90-day guarantees or the commitments, they wouldn't be held accountable for it. So it was a very frustrating situation in my opinion, because it was just like, why the hell did you even do this in the first place? So yeah, again, I don't think gyms are bad or anything. I don't want to like, you know, sway people from not going to the gym or like working on their body. But make sure you read the fine print whenever you get these free trials, because there's a lot more to it than you might realize.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Alright, so now we're at the final story for today's video. This happened about 2 weeks ago as time recording, so like early August. And this is probably the wildest story for today's video. You thought that the first story was crazy? Well, this is wild. So to set the stage, this happened during editing one of my more recent videos. I made a video recently called Ranking Every Single TikTok Criminal. If you would like to watch it, I'll leave a card above. But essentially it was a very ambitious video, a very long video, one that I was very passionate about, and you guys, you know, if you're viewers on the channel, you watched it. Very proud, thank you guys for the support. But very early on in the editing process, I was just gathering all my typical clips I was getting, you know, because if you watch my videos regularly, you know that I like splice a lot of like clips in there, get a lot of, you know, material from YouTube and stuff like that, just to, you know, make the content interesting in some sort of way, make it more dynamic. And so early on after shooting and starting editing, I decided to start, you know, downloading videos, and I just had to restart my laptop because the previous day I couldn't edit because my mouse pad was just acting weird and strange, and it delayed editing by a day. So I was already kind of like, you know, mad because I was just couldn't edit stuff. And by the time I finally was able to like get my laptop working correctly, I had to get back all my apps I was usually like, you know, used to downloading YouTube videos in order to start editing my work. And so I was just gathering around the area because the typical one that I was using for I couldn't find for some reason, the YouTube downloading website. And so I just searched up like YouTube downloading website and I find a couple. And while I'm downloading a bunch of these YouTube videos, I decided to check out like multiple of them. And one of them I decided to check out was a gigantic mistake.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And because the main one I currently use right now does kind of act weird, like there are some clips that like, will only be like 30 seconds, will take like, you know, a day to download. Like, you know those downloads that will take forever. And so I was just testing out the waters of these new YouTube downloading apps I discovered. And because this all started because I was having trouble downloading this stupid like JENNA or ORTEGA Jacob Sartorius music video from like 7 years ago, because I couldn't download it correctly. And I was like, oh, let me just go to this other website and download this YouTube video through here. So yeah. And so I was like, oh, I can't download this Jacob Sartorius music video correctly on this site. So let me just try this other site. And it's like one of like the first 4 sites that pop up when you type up YouTube downloading website on Google. And as soon as I entered one of these websites, it immediately like blockaded me with like a like virus protection warning that like locked my screen. I couldn't exit out of it. It wasn't like a pop-up ad or anything. And it was like, warning, warning, Trojan virus warning, you know, call Microsoft tech services immediately, like, you know, warning, warning. I was like, what the hell? And so I'm like, God damn it, I have to stop editing again, and have to worry about just making sure my laptop doesn't get fucked up because I just downloaded a fucking Trojan virus because I want to download a goddamn Jacob Sartorius music video. Thank you, Jacob Sartorius, you fucking ruined my day. It's not your fault, but it's just kind of funny. And so I, you know, call up the number that appears on the screen because I don't assume that anything's like, you know, fraudulent about it, because why the hell would they go so far with this? And so I contact a number, the Microsoft Tech Service guy. He picks up, and funny thing, just want to point this first red flag. This guy's name is Patrick Wilson, and this guy was clearly not English. He was clearly like, you know, I don't want to say stereotypical, but like, you know, he was, you know, Indian, Middle Eastern, tech support guy. You know what I'm talking about. Not saying that Hindi people or Indian people can't have like English names. It was just kind of a weird thing in my opinion. And so I call up this guy and he's like, hey, listen, what's up? You know, what's going on? And I explained the situation. I was like downloading a YouTube video and I got a Trojan virus. And he's like, okay, let me like open up my services. Let me, you know, document everything so I can, you know, report it to my superiors and everything like that. You know, typical like jargon you get from a lot of these Microsoft Tech Services people. And I remember this guy didn't really do anything to help the situation. Like he was literally like explaining like how to like try to get rid of the virus by like the most elementary like ways of instructions. Like this guy was like, can you gotta go to the command keep, so like, you know, C for cookie and everything like that. And he was like, you know, go for run, you know, R for race, U for umbrella, N for, you know, nutcracker. And I was like, yeah, run. Command prompt. Like, this guy was like explaining everything in the slowest way possible. All to explain just the basic understanding of the situation. Like, he literally made me Google wiki definitions of Trojan virus and other viruses in the process. And I was like, I understand. Like, you're literally here to explain the situation. I can Google this any other day. Like, what can you do to help the situation? He's like, okay, I will contact my superior. I will contact your bank because your information might be, you know, fraudulent, or your information might be hacked by a hacker, blah, 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 blah. And so he hangs up. And then he calls back like 2 seconds later. He's like, yeah, actually, your bank said they're afraid to call you because the line's been compromised. If my phone line's been compromised, right, why the hell are you calling me, chief? And so that situation was just a gigantic mess. And then this other guy pops up. His name was Daniel. And similar to what I talked about, this guy clearly was not an English name, not English native. And he was explaining the situation once again, not really doing anything to help out. He was just explaining the most basic of terms of what was going on. You know, made me wiki these viruses and everything like that. And basically, like, I let him like share my screen. Like, there's like an app where like you can let some other screen like view your stuff, and he like try to like pull up like these Trojan viruses, like maybe like run command prompts on my laptop and everything. And this takes hours, mind you. These people were explaining this stuff to me for hours, and I was just so tired of everything. I just wanted this to be done. I was like, can I just reset my laptop? They're like, well, blah 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 blah. And they were explaining like, you know, they were pulling up like a VPN website, like NordVPN or whatever, and they were like, hey, listen, you know, your information's like out there and everything. I was like, okay, can I just get a VPN? And they're like, no, don't get a VPN. I'm like, okay, another red flag. And then basically the climax of this story is that this other guy, Daniel, he was basically like, hey, listen, I know there's a target around your area, and we need you to get this Microsoft protection, like this 12 level protection that would protect you and your family from, like, you know, fraudulent information being leaked or anything like that, you know, your information being sent out or, you know, being compromised and everything. And mind you, the entire time I'm constantly looking at my bank account and my information, my Instagram, making sure nothing's changed, right? And they explained to me clearly that like most hackers work within the first 24 to 48 hours within getting your information, and I just haven't seen anything in any change in my personal information being leaked. So again, another red flag. But I drive the target while I'm on the phone with this guy, and we're just making small talk and everything. And so when we get to the target, this guy explained that like it was like a Microsoft like surrogate or like supporter of his products, which I never heard of before. Again, another red flag. And so by the time we get to this target, this guy explains to me that I had to get this $800 amount for a Microsoft protection service I mentioned earlier. This is going to cost $800 to protect me and my family for like 3 years or whatever the hell. And I don't have a lot of money at the time, so I was like, do I really need to spend $800? But I was willing to do it to make sure me and my family were safe, because my family were completely innocent in this situation. And then this guy explains to me, and this broke the illusion for me. This guy explains to me what I had to get, and he's like, hey, you need to get 4 Target cards, like Target gift cards, $200 each. Make sure that they are personal use so you get a discount on these cards. Make sure you keep the receipts, and make sure we can read the numbers on the back. And as soon as I heard that, the illusion broke, and I realized I went through my head and realized the entire situation, from the lack of actually like doing anything substantial in the situation to explain the situation, and all these red flags, realized that these 2 Microsoft Tech supporters were the scammers. That this website fraudulated an entire Microsoft Tech scam just so they can get Target cards.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
And it just kept dawning on me as I was asking this guy, I was like, I thought we were meant to get like Microsoft security protection. Why the hell do I need to get Target cards to explain the situation? Like, why does that solve anything? And he just kept like reassuring me, this matters. And I remember hanging up the phone, being like, hey, can I call you back? And they were still kind of in the illusion, like in the state that I was just falling for their scam. I remember driving home, and my Target's only like 5 minutes away from my house, but I remember just driving so fast because my laptop was open at the time, and they had the sharing screen thing still on because they asked me to keep it on. And I was like, dude, what if they like start getting into my account and my laptop, and they start like looking at my personal information? I remember driving home like a fucking maniac because I was making sure that my laptop wasn't being compromised by these 2 scammers pretending to be Microsoft Tech supporters. And so I get home, I immediately shut down everything, I reset my laptop again for the second day in a row after my mouse pad wasn't working. And luckily, at least to this day, my information still has not been compromised in any sort of my way. My bank accounts are safe, my information's fine. I've since installed Surfshark VPN, so thank God for them, because it finally made me kick myself in the ass and actually be productive in installing secure protection against my own accounts. And I just remember just being so mad at myself, not because I fell for the scam, because like I didn't lose any money in this situation. It was just like, dude, I wasted like 5 hours that I could have been editing, all because I had to download this fucking JENNA ORTEGA, Jacob Sartorius music video in the quickest way possible. And I was like, dude, I was so mad about that. And luckily, again, nothing really bad happened because of the situation after that. These people didn't call me again. They quickly deleted the website and everything. And I was just like, these people are just gonna be in the wind forever. So more to the story. If you come across these weird websites, like these YouTube downloading websites, and you come across these weird Microsoft tech supporters claiming to be them, don't fall for the scam. Don't make them, you know, let you think you have to buy target cards in order to like solve this supposed hack or Trojan virus in your fucking computer or whatever the hell. Just ignore them, please. All these stories. Keep your eyes open. Make sure you're secure by yourself. Make sure you're secure with your information, and just make sure you're protected. Trust those around you, and make sure you just don't fall for people who are just gonna be willing just to take advantage of your vulnerability and try to take money from you. And that's what I learned from this situation. And honestly, because of the shit that I went through back in December of being scammed, it prevented me from being scammed even more by these Microsoft tech supporters. But yeah, I know this is kind of a messy video, but I just kind of want to talk about these stories because it's kind of wild. You know, 3 times in the past 8 months, I think it's kind of a little compilation of like funny stories I wanted to share. And also like something that I think should be aware of more, because even somebody like me that's grown up on the internet, you can get scammed. We've seen people like, you know, in Bitcoin getting scammed every single day, or people doing shit like gambling and whatever the hell. Like, don't fall for scams. Remember, there are always people like YouTubers that'll try to scam you, and people that are gonna try to like steal your money and everything like that. No, don't fall for it. You're better than that. Including myself. And, you know, it's good to look in the mirror sometimes and like reflect on your mistakes and realize how far you've came, in my opinion. So yeah, these are some stories I just wanted to share for today. If you enjoyed them, I mean, I don't do many story time videos, but if you want to see more of them, I guess I can do more of them. I do have some crazy stories in my life that I wouldn't mind sharing. But if you did enjoy, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more contents. But anyways, I am CBM Productions, and remember, it's hard to be a perfect person, but not a decent one. See you back.